yo. Yo, check it out now. Third strike, yo. Yo, check it out now. Third strike, yo.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Setplay video. I am Nica, and for this next series I will be covering the Winners Finals and Grand Finals matches held at the most recent auto qualifier from Game of Dreams between myself and Yuuki. Before I get started, I did want to give a quick shout out to the Jazzy Circuit staff, Katie Alpha and Venkabot, for both running and streaming the tournament. If you haven't already, please be sure to give a follow on Twitter to the Jazzy Circuit staff. That's at the Jazzy Circuit on Twitter, as well as giving a follow to Venkabot on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Venkabot, as well as on Twitter as well. Without them, obviously, we wouldn't even have an auto qualifier, so just wanted to give a quick shout out to them for all their efforts, and definitely for supporting the entire Third Strike community. And so, with that said, just a brief overview of what I intend on covering. For the Winners Finals and Grand Finals, I intend on doing a play-by-play analysis, just a straight run-through of all the matches that happen, and basically give my immediate thought process, my immediate analysis of the matches, and in-game adjustments, if you will. After that portion, I intend on doing an in-depth analysis, basically stopping at any specific situations that either caused me to stop and think, or basically just an analysis of how exactly a situation occurs, or how it affects the gameplay moving forward. With that said, let's just jump right into it. Here's the Winners Finals between myself and Yuuki. One of the things that I did want to mention about this is that me and Yuuki did play at a ranking event literally the week before, so we had some background as well as some casuals beforehand, before the tournament, so in casuals, and it was something where Yuuki was definitely working on his young gameplay and making some specific adjustments. So in that instance right there, I basically tried to establish the forward fierce to anti-air the neutral jumps. Right here, it's just mainly trying to enter and get around his neutral jumps, which is generally a spacing tool that Yuns use in this type of matchup, just to control the space. That was a nice Kara. It's a basic combo to keep me in the corner. It's a walk-up Kara grab. So, analyzing the pressure there, I realized that, okay, he's blocking the first slash, and I need to sort of establish something, just to establish some type of pressure. Right here, he's using long-range normals just to sort of get first both get his meter, which he just got right now, and you can see how big of a difference it makes to control that space and play that type of game. And right there, that doesn't necessarily cross up for Yang, so the wake up forward parry is something that, you know, that's okay to do. That's a miss low short short. And I'm pretty cognizant of the shoulders that he's doing, just because it's something where if you're not too confident in activating full screen, it's something that a lot of young players do, so I try to maintain that full screen distance to punish. Right there, I was actually expecting a low normal just in case. I did not mean to do that. That was actually a command grab that I wanted to do when he went backwards. So so in a quick the quick analysis is that obviously I'm just trying to establish some type of offense, and counter any type of shoulders that he does, any spacing control that he uses, as well as be aware of his dive kicks too. So one of the minor adjustments that I made was to do dive kick twice against him, and to maintain that full screen distance, because both I'm not really too confident at this point of his wake up game because he was prone to guest pairing a little bit more. So I tried to establish more grabs, and obviously, you know, a player of his caliber, it's really difficult to make these type of adjustments.
Yuuki looking in control here.
And yeah, he's catching me on my jump in normals and just obviously grabbing me pretty easily.
Launcher activate.
This I have to block.
Yup, good.
That's the
nice.
most basic. That's the most basic
That's alright.
conversion afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to give him anything to parry when I jumped in. Again, I'm just establishing some type of grab and space control. Right there, that was actually a missed parry. I didn't want to. I kind of figured he was going to do something like that, and I just missed the parry.
Oh, Nica KO.
And right here, just at this point, what I'm thinking about is avoiding the wake up parries. So trying to mix up both high and low, along with grabs. But him being the proficient player that he is, it's really difficult to do that.
Super Saiyan Yun.
Just a basic combo. He missed it. You'll see that dash punch after a grab is something that he's been doing relatively frequently. It's a pretty... It's nasty. It's a pretty nasty setup to do. So I kind of did a whiff fierce to avoid any... Missed the EX there. Whiff fierce to make him think I was going to jump in.
Opens him up and drops it. Jumps out of the command grab. A lot of defense here. This could be huge. Oh, parries!
Again, I just messed up there. It's...
Oh, no, missing the link combo.
For some context, we both actually did mess up a lot in terms of execution wise, so it is something where doing low short like that was something that was failing me the majority of the time during the day. So just out of habit, you know, we kept on doing the things that we're used to doing, but even though we messed up, we still tried to pull out our best game. That last situation, obviously, I figured a dive kick was coming. That's just based on matchup experience from the casuals that we had. So again, just trying to establish some type of pressure and keep him locked down. Again, that his wake up parries were so on point throughout the entire weekend. It was ridiculous. It really discourages you as a player to deal with that. That was a nice mix up. I was too slow on the punish.
Activation. Oh, gotta keep parrying against Yun.
Yeah, in that situation on a down parry, I'm thinking, okay, I kind of know he's always going to start with a low. And I went for the down parry, but I didn't think he was going to continue it, so that was a miscalculation on my part. So right here, I'm trying to counter his jump-ins and his shoulders, basically, obviously, because he's trying to get his meter right now. So he escaped. Need to get back in and close in that gap. That was actually really nice. Standing jab to anti-air, but then I parried and then he waited and then he command grabbed. That was sick. Again, he was looking for the jump in, so I had to do that again. Again, he was looking for it again, and that's one of the things that you'll see is that establishing that standing fierce as an anti-air, just because he's doing neutral fierce, neutral jump fierce, is something that really works. That delay was to counter the possible red parry on the slash. And this is just a typical round where I'm telling myself, okay, I need to really hone in on establishing that opening and establishing that pressure. So right now, immediately I'm thinking, okay, I need to avoid the wake-up situations, obviously, but more so it's the neutral game that really plays the biggest part. So basically, whoever dominates the neutral game is the one who ends up coming out on top. So you can see we're both trying to establish something. He jumps back, he counters my dive kicks with the dash punch. He punishes my slashes. and he drops the combo. That was a far command grab, but that was a further jump roundhouse. And I had to do double dive kick again. I'm actually pretty lucky he didn't punish with low strong into up kicks. And right there in that situation, because of Yun's invincibility on his Gain agent, either that or is because it might have been too far, one or the other. But when I input the low forward, it was either too far or it was too early. So me thinking that it was going to hit, I did super activation after that. Again, he got his meter right now, so I have to be careful. Just trying to be aware of his jumps and any type of pressure from that point. That's something he's been doing the entire time. So that is something that that he's been doing the entire time in terms of casuals, just to keep me spaced in and control the space in the corner.
Oh my god. Oh, he teleports to the other side.
This is me again trying to keep him grounded. Too far for the grab. At this point, I use this super to get the hard knockdown, but again, that wake up parry is the biggest thing. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, that's. At this point, I was thinking, okay, let me try to buffer parry again. And so I have to pause here because of that situation. So at that moment specifically, you know, I get him with a launcher into jump roundhouse, and I pressure him into the corner. But basically, once I'm put into the corner myself, I'm thinking, okay, I have to avoid the command grab and sort of guard jump the first time around. So the first time I guard jumped, I came back down. I guard jumped backwards actually. That way, I was able to do the chain combo when I came back down. At that moment, he obviously did the double parry. He did standing short. I think probably to catch the landing of it, so he could punish. But it's rather difficult. You know, obviously you saw that when he did it too early, it reset me in the air. And then at that point, I thought about it again, and I said, okay, I have to get out of that situation. And for me, rather than jump forward in that moment, I jumped backwards again, thinking, okay, he parried my my chain combo when I came back down, so let me empty jump when I come back down. So then I realized once I was midway on the second jump, I said, okay, he's already focused enough to anti-air me at this point. So I tried to buffer parry in the air to counter the low strong into up kicks. And obviously it was too late because he actually did it really, really low. And that's extremely difficult to parry in that moment to try to counter that. And realistically, in terms of a punish, it would have been really difficult to come up with any type of punish afterwards because of the landing. So yeah, I came back down looking to do an empty jump, but obviously you always want to buffer a parry at that point at this level. So him doing the low strong EX up kicks, that's natural. But then me jumping back in and missing the parry was just what caused me to lose that one. But that was definitely a good counter against that situation. So at this point in time, being that it's 2-2 in the set, I'm thinking, okay, I have to really dig deep. And the way that I think about it against Yuuki is to always make sure to get the first round, just because of the lack of good agent. You know, I really had to dig deep and say, okay, let me look for any specific scenarios. Again, I did my dive kick, but he caught me by surprise with that red parry. He starts establishing that throughout the sets. That's catching the neutral jump. And at this point, I'm trying to stay grounded and stay in front of him rather than staying aerial too much.
Gonna go for the command grab soon. There it is. Up, shoulder. Oh no, misses the second one. Stand fierce. Oh, no.
Again, looking for the shoulder, so I told myself, okay, wait for the shoulder, wait for something, basically, because I know that last game, It's going to be something where I have to wait for him to make the mistake, and
Match is so sick right now.
it's really difficult in this type of scenario because it's winners finals, last game,
Watch
and
your toes.
right there I'm not sure if I missed the parry or not, but
We got the crowd chanting for A.
that was a nice jump back Fierce.
Oh, the up kicks. Oh!
He really
Final
kept me locked
round.
down in that corner the entire
Nica
time,
versus
so I
Yuuki.
said,
Who's gonna
okay,
take it to go to grand
I have to
finals?
really pretty much pull the same thing I did the first round.
Oh,
I got lucky there, but I missed the punish there.
missed the link.
I meant to do 2 jabs into EX, but I just had a brain fart there, honestly. So right here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm okay with life. I just have to worry about the mix-up so I don't quick rise. But then I have to keep him in front of me.
Nice. Yuuki
So I keep him in front of me
bad
here.
situation here.
Keep him in front of me.
He's gotta get out
Wait
of
for
this.
him.
There he is. He's out now.
I got a little too excited about that and just
Oh, no super.
EX right there.
Oh! Oh! Gets the meaty link into
Right
the
here,
super.
expecting the forward parry, I did low strong.
Oh! Okay, chance for
Now I'm
Yuuki
in
here.
trouble. I have to really jump back and
Down.
expect something.
Oh! Gets the pickup. Hey!
Right now I'm thinking about the next situation. I saw him neutral jump and then I back grabbed at that point.
Final round. Nica KO takes it over Yuuki.
So
What a match.
in terms of adjustments overall, it is something where it's just something in terms of the actual pressure of the match where you look at it and you say, okay, well, what can I do in the most simplistic sense? Obviously everything else that comes afterwards in terms of the decision making that you make, that's something that comes into play based on your experience. So for me, I know that, you know, he's waking up and guest pairing, or rather waking up and forward pairing on wake up. So that's when I did the low strong into super. But generically, in terms of the mentality of coming back from 2-1 or whatever it is, the whole point is to simplify these situations so you can sort of reassure yourself and say, okay, this I did well in the set, whereas this I kind of fumbled, so I have to be extremely careful. So it sort of lends itself to the mindset of saying, okay, I can win this, or I'm struggling a bit, and I have to be careful of this. So whichever portion outweighs the other will basically determine how the match goes. So if you tell yourself, okay, I'm not doing too well here, then what can I do? You already lost there. As in terms of a mentality aspect, you already lost there, and it's going to be an uphill battle to fight back from that. One of the things that you can look for as a player is, again, just look for the positive reinforcement in the sense that, okay, I'm doing this well, he is not hitting me here, I can fight back here. Sort of transition that negative aspect of it to a positive aspect and say, okay, I can win this if I just work really hard to try to make the adjustment. You know, the execution portion of it, that's always going to come into play. But it's one of those things where if you don't have your execution at this level, you will falter and it will cost you the set at the end of the day. Overall, there were certain aspects where I was able to sort of come up with some ideas to control it, but obviously fighting against Ganagin, limiting the Ganagin is the most crucial thing. That I'll go into more in depth afterwards. But yeah, that's basically the sort of play-by-play. There were some things that I went too in depth into, but generally the mindset is still the same, that in terms of adjustments, you have to simplify it, and you have to sort of turn that negative aspect of, okay, how can I win this, or what am I doing here that's wrong, to a positive aspect and say, okay, I can do this. I can control the space, I can, you know, stop his Ganagin, I can defend against his Ganagin, rather than say, oh, screw his Ganagin, oh, I'm tired of this Ganagin, or damn, he's so good, I'm going to, you know, he's spacing me out so good, I can't do anything. You have to get over that hump, and that's actually what makes the mindset different for every player. And so that completes the first part of the Winners Finals set breakdown. Next up is the in-depth analysis, but if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe for more analysis videos, as well as subscribe and follow the Jazzy Circuit staff on the links here and in the description box below. Without further ado, please enjoy part 2 of the Winners Finals breakdown from the Game of Dreams Auto Qualifier. So, obviously this is going back to the beginning. So just a little context here. I did play Yuuki again. Just for more context, I played Yuuki at the previous ranking tournament, although it wasn't something where he played Yun. He actually played Ken. Ken and Makoto, I believe. I forget in Winners Finals which one he used. Although I think in Winners Finals he used Yun, but then in Grand Finals he used Ken at the ranking tournament. So going back to this point where we played each other here, obviously we had some experience playing each other throughout the entire time, and it's something where we played each other in casuals before the tournament and sort of made all the adjustments necessary. And it was funny, he actually watched some videos of myself versus Yakun before the tournament, and if you actually notice you can actually notice the similarities between the two, where he's doing some tactics that Yakun did, and while mixing in some of the things that he knows too, which is what really makes it difficult in this sense, in terms of playing in the tournament. So it was funny because when I first played him in tournament, I sort of felt that, okay, I was playing Yakun for 2 seconds, and then I went back to playing Yuuki. It was so weird going through that situation, but then after the tournament, finding out that, okay, he actually watched the videos, it made more sense to say, like, okay, he made the adjustment, and that's actually the most impressive part, to watch a couple of videos before a tournament and then make that entire adjustment in the tournament itself. And hands down, that's by some opinions, that's actually what makes Yuuki the most talented third strike player in terms of raw talent in the country. So definitely something where I had to be cognizant of. So again, in terms of the situations themselves, again, just telling myself, okay, I have to defend against the specific scenarios where he's controlling space. So a situation like this where he's neutral jumping like that, standing fierce is the cleanest option. It sort of tells me, okay, he's neutral jumping, he's very tentative to see what I'm going to do. And you'll see later on that I actually hit him with this at 3 crucial points. One is this one, one is another time in Winners Finals, and then another one is in Grand Finals. Funny thing is how things circle around, and how you start is how you finish, so it's pretty funny how that works. So again, keeping him locked down with that. This I tried to sort of catch him on his dive kick, and it didn't work. I should have neutral grabbed there, but right there I'm cognizant of his wake up parries, so I'm telling myself, okay, I have to really be careful of his wake ups, because obviously with standing fierce, for those of you who don't know, with Yun and Yang, if you do standing fierce and the opponent parries, the only thing that they can do is a move that's 3 frames or less. So, for example, Chun can do low jab, characters can grab afterwards. Anything other than that, anything that's more than 3 frames, and the second hit will stuff them out. So, for example, if Ken tries to do strong fierce, after he parries the standing fierce from Yun or Yang, the second hit will stuff out his strong. And yeah, it'll keep him knocked down. So him knowing that, obviously he parried, then grabbed. So at this moment, I saw that he does have meter, and he looked for a shoulder relatively quickly. So at this point, I have to really be careful and say, okay, let me try to sort of establish something.
I think particularly twins.
So he activated at this point, and me, I'm trying to fight back here. So using that low jab right there, I showed that to him before, and that's the thing where the context matters in terms of the matches. So he saw that, you know, earlier on in the casuals that I was actually doing low jab, and he sort of made the adjustment there, and he actually did it. It looked like a carry that he did here.
Yeah. Up kicks. Oh, same side. Yeah. So when somebody's already in the corner, I think particularly twins can't teleport.
Yeah, he did low forward, and then Kara fierce, and then he did Kara again into standing jab. That standing jab whiffed, but then you can see how my crouching jab whiffed because he was too far. But then he ended up walking up and command grabbing me at that point.
Oh my god.
And that's just a basic combo. Typically what you could do is shoulder, 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 and then torch fierce into the corner, or torch fierce outside of the corner, and then dash punch. He actually does this later on, but it is another combo that you can do. That's that gives it more of a set play setup afterwards. But same idea here. Low strong up kicks. Same idea. He did dive kick, and then at this point, it's a meaty hit. So anything that he does, he's recovering fast enough so that he can get a meaty hit off of me. So he can either do standing strong or low short, and that's where the issue comes in for me. I have to both worry about where he is in terms of the side, but then also worry about the mix-up afterwards. So it's really a devastating setup for both Yin and Yang. So the idea here is later on you'll start to see me not quick rise, just to avoid that entire situation.
Back and forth.
Yeah, so he did it again. Luckily nothing came about that, but that's a punish, although not sure how significant it was.
Remember guys,
Right there, I saw that he was pointing forward in the sense that most likely he was looking for a forward parry after the shoulder. And you can see I actually did a walk up low short and he got hit by it, but then he still walked up and grabbed me. So that right there told me, okay, let me figure something else afterwards, and let me do it again. And then again he did it again, but then I did low forward into EX to close out the round.
For previous DFW Jazzy event where it was Nica over Yuuki in grand finals.
Yeah, that's just something where he's just trying to keep me locked in. He has his meter now, so I have to be careful, but he was really on point with the low forward into activate into Canadian combo. He was really able to link that pretty well. Right here, I'm just trying to fight my way out. I tried to escape. I wanted to do dive kick actually. Right here, I wanted to do short dive kick, but I got jumped short. And then back grab into the corner. This doesn't necessarily work. So the thing with Yin and Yang is that the way they cross up in the corner is side specific. From what I remember, I will most likely do a video on this later on to show the differences, but it is something that me and Yuuki talked about afterwards, where we were kind of both confused as to which side, or rather how it works exactly, but it did make a difference in terms of the side that you throw them into the corner and what side Yin and Yang is on. So there's a lot of nuance to it, which lends itself to the match as well. So this is actually a nice frame with Yang. But yeah, so the idea where I teleport, he already knew that, okay, it's going to be in front of him. If I back grabbed and then dive kicked, that most likely would have crossed up, but doing a teleport, it wasn't going to do anything. So you can see here he just immediately parried and then just back grabbed.
Alright, Yuuki's gonna throw him back towards the corner. They are even up in this first game here. We got some Let's Go Yuuki.
And that's another miss. And for context, both of us were missing a lot during the tournament. Just for some context, at Game of Dreams they have they have a candy cab setup where they are two separate cabs, but the panels have two sticks and two sets of buttons on them on each side. So we're sort of playing at an angle. We're sort of playing on one player's side and he's playing on two players' side, but sort of at an angle. So that probably lends itself as to sort of some type of execution errors in terms of dive kicks or low short misses or whatever the case is. So we actually had that a lot throughout the entire sets that we had. So the basic idea for any player at this point is play your best. If you don't have your best stuff, you play your best and get what you can of it. Don't ever, for any newer players or mid-level players or even players who play at a relatively high level who struggle with execution, don't ever let your emotions cloud that and say, okay, I'm like, oh damn, I can't execute this. Well, if you can't execute it, come up with another plan. It may be difficult. It may be something where if you can't come up with something, then you have to simplify it, but never beat yourself up, because then you lose immediately. You start to tell yourself, okay, I can't execute, then it's almost as if why try. But the idea is to never give up at that point and to always make the adjustment necessary and simplify it for yourself. If you can't do low forward slash for whatever reason, or low forward EX slash, then you can take the normal slash and come up with some other ideas. Or if you can't do low short into EX, do low short, then normal slash, then walk up grab. Some ideas to sort of get out of that funk of, okay, I can't execute today. That's me looking for the shoulder right there. I kind of wanted to catch him with the palm, but he jumped at a specific point where it was too late. So he caught the right dive kick, he back grabbed me. Right here I have to be careful, because that situation right there where he back grabbed me and then he did dash punch, that's one of the more devastating setups that he can actually control the side there, although we were both confused as to which side we would be on, so it made a difference.
Oh no! Execution error there. Yeah, he's laughing. He's like, my bad. Nice. Opens up Nica. Gonna get a good conversion here. Oh!
Nice combo again. At this point, he most likely thought I was going to guard jump or try to jump out at that point to escape any type of setup afterwards, but me at that point, I was looking for a low hit regardless. Sort of a low short into command grab, or the shoulder I honestly wasn't expecting, but the low parry covers that regardless. So I was either expecting a low short into command grab or low forward for some type of pressure. So that was always going to happen when I was going to down parry.
Wake up low short mantis. Gang special.
Right here, I'm trying to keep him locked down. So again, I saw him neutral jump the first time. Again, I tried it here, and luckily it trades.
Have a reversal, but that might as well be his reversal.
This, I did not want that to happen. I explained this earlier, but I did want to do a command grab. But because of the side switch, it messed with my motion.
Oh.
And he was really proficient at doing a wake up grab like that, and it was really, really fast. So having that thought process in mind to both counter his wake up grabs and wake up parrying, it really slowed down my meaty hits. So both him sort of guest parrying at that point and then doing a wake up grab instantly like that, it counters any type of delay when it comes to the meaty hits. So that's why he had a lot of success when it came to that. That I did not want to do jump back roundhouse. I did not want to do that jump back roundhouse, but it was most likely something where I was probably thinking of like neutral jump and then dive kick, but then I got jump back roundhouse. Let's see.
Have a reversal, but that might as well be his reversal. Oh, gets thrown.
Yeah, oh, actually, so that wasn't actually that. Looks like I wanted to go back, and then I wanted to walk back and then do low forward into EX or something of that nature. But then I got jump back, and and then I tried to come down with the jump in roundhouse, and it didn't work. So again, so just minor execution errors that you have to recover from and say, okay, just take it and move it along.
This is first to 3. Yeah, this is a winners finals match. Love curve.
So right here, I'm kind of cognizant of the fact that he's grabbing me after my dive kicks. So I did dive kick again, and just try to sort of build some type of pressure on him, see what he would do. At that point, seeing him do low short like parrying the low short into EX and punishing, that was really discouraging. So I said, okay, I have to really be careful of that and start to implement more grabs when it comes to his wake ups. So I jumped back, try to get some space. This was a really ridiculous setup that I've never really had experience against because no one really does this against me. So I understood the idea because I've seen it before in videos, but to play it in tournament and to see that sort of mix up like that, at this level you sort of have to be aware of the command grab possibility too. So that's what I was aware of, and for right here I tried to down parry, and he started off with standing strong, and then he did his other combos there, and he messed it up, fortunately for me. And I tried to establish the grab, but then he jumped out, and his defense was really efficient at this point. And he did it again. So you'll start to see that at this point, because he starts parrying my jump in roundhouses and grabbing me, I have to start implementing empty jumps.
Oh, nice shoulder. Okay, does he get the follow up though? Alright, launcher activate.
So just blocking this. Right here, this should have comboed, but I think I did the short too late. Jump back fierce into standing short or low short. Yeah, so I did it a little too slow. Or rather, I might have done the jump back fierce too early, which caused me to miss. So I knew I couldn't continue the slashes because then he could have shouldered to counter. As Yang, if you do 4 slashes against Yun when he has Ganagin, he can shoulder as a reversal and punish you. So I was aware of that, and I just did 3, and then I backed off at that point. And right there I tried to do low roundhouse thinking he was going to walk forward, but he still did shoulder, most likely expecting the EX afterwards, the forward slash from the EX. Right here I was definitely aware of the jump in parries, so empty jump into low short, and then grabs again. This is where I'm starting to get some mileage and implementing my plan. Right there, I saw that he parried, and I could have done a jump fierce after him, but then obviously him not doing anything afterwards told me that he was going to parry too. So the way this situation would have went is I did launcher, he parries, I jump forward and do jump fierce, then he parries, and then I'm on the other side, and then I try to, so either he would do a fierce afterwards to counter my jump, or I could jump after him and try to hit him out of the air, which is probably not going to work because it's too late. But yeah, basically he would have did this parry here, probably fierce to counter while I super jumped, I would have buffered a parry here when I super jumped. And then when I'm on the other side, he would have probably done launcher, which I would have been able to parry. And then same thing, which I missed. So all of that was a moot point.
Oh, hits him with his own launcher. Okay, coming back, slashing his ass. Oh!
Yeah, so right there, majority of the times he ended up doing either low short into forward parry, like a down parry into forward parry, expecting the low forward or low short into slash. So either that or a forward parry. So me thinking ahead, I realized, okay, I have to stutter, so I have to do low short, no slash afterwards, and then anything else afterwards. So it could have been like a launcher or command grab or a grab, and at that point I did low short and then command grab afterwards. This was just a punish on his jumping. That was a really gutsy low strong at the start of it. I definitely caught me by surprise because I was trying to walk up and grab him, but he did it regardless and it hit. And the problem with that is that he was able to get a lot of meter off of it and shoulder, and then I blocked, and now I have to fight back, and it's something where he's spacing it out to the point where I can't necessarily find an opening. So I had to jump back, get some spacing. Again, he grabbed me right after my first dive kick, so the idea was supposed to be to dive kick and then dive kick again. And then again that's you can see there that it's so tricky when he does that. So he missed that the first time, so then he grabbed me again. And then right here I tried to do the same thing, and I was on the other side, so he just grabbed me to catch the recovery of my jumping.
Oh, the whiff into the command grab.
Trying not to give him too much on trying not to give him too much in terms of a jump in parry. So that's what this was. So this situation. So you can see there that he paused, trying to buffer a parry. So I had to whiff that and then command grab when I land.
Dirty stuff.
And then right there, I actually wanted EX here, but that's actually works out pretty fine. Keep him locked in with the low roundhouse, which is deceptively far. It's really far. You almost have screen length, so that's why it hits here. So right here, I meant to do low short EX, but I missed it, which most likely would have been the end of the round at that point. But at this point, if you have the execution error, you have to just deal with it. So right now he has no meter, so I can sort of take some type of liberties with walking in. Yeah. So this is actually based on context from when we played earlier in the day. Anytime that I had low life, he had a tendency to dive kick and dive kick again. So I realized, like, okay, I know I'm in the corner and it's really risky to do this, but I kind of figured he was going to do a dive kick at the, like, to hit me on top, and I was really focused on it at the beginning of the set. So at this point in the round, I'm telling myself, okay, he jumped, let me try to escape, but then do jump back fierce.
Oh, he didn't have meter to activate. Okay, jump back fierce there, gonna take it from me. We are 1-1 in this first 3. This is in Colorado. Oh, nice. He got hit with a...
So this situation right here, what I'm trying to do, my idea here is to neutral grab, which is good, but then in terms of a mix-up afterwards, I knew he was either going to try to grab or parry, and it's just one of those things where I'm trying to meaty him to the point where it's a mix-up by switching sides. So I tried to switch sides and do low forward, but it was too late. It was really, really too late. And he just ended up back grabbing me there. So I had to gain some space again after that dive kick. So here, trying to establish some type of pressure, I try to keep him locked down with that. And again, I believe that's the same exact situation or a similar situation. Yeah, so and this cross up with the side switch, that's I believe that's that should be something where it's based on the screen shift. So if you tend to see this, you'll see it more so towards the edges of the screen when it comes to yin and yang. So right here, I wasn't necessarily looking for it, but it is something that sort of lent itself to my mix-up afterwards. So similar to how I got the neutral grab, and then I did dive kick, I got the side switch here, and again I was able to do the dive kick again. But luckily, I recovered quickly enough to do dive kick and then hit him right there. That was a silly dive kick on my part, but you know, obviously it shows how he punished it.
Interesting option. Maybe he went for a Kara.
That was really dirty stuff.
Oh! They both know it's not anything. Like, this button means nothing.
So I'm not sure what that was actually in terms of the universal overhead. I'm pretty sure that's an input error. This was a dirty one. You can see right here when I quick rise, him doing the standing strong keeps him in place. So that way when I quick rise, he gets to go onto the other side and sort of control the side that he wants to be on, which makes it really devastating. So the adjustment here is obviously not quick rise anymore. That was too slow on my punish here. Now, one thing that you'll probably start seeing him do is red parry the low forward into slash consistently, and that is a proper punish. It's actually the best punish that you can get in terms of getting meter, damage, and everything basically. The idea is that when Yun red parries that, and even if Yang does a second normal slash, the second slash will trade with the shoulder, and it'll just trade at that point because both hitting at the same time, and then he can dash punch afterwards. So it's something where I had to be aware of this and sort of use more EXs, but given the input errors, it was really difficult to do it consistently. So I had to work off of that and sort of come up with other ideas. But this was, in either case, this was still too slow of a punish. He did whiff grab, so I could have done low forward EX slash to punish, but it was too slow. And when it comes to doing low forward EX slash, if he red parries the first hit, you have to continuously do it in order to beat out the shoulder. If you slow down at all with the EX slash, then the shoulder will hit. And that's exactly what happened here, is that he did the low forward, he did the down parry into forward parry, then shoulder, and you can see that I delayed. And that's how I got hit.
Activation.
And now I'm in trouble. This is just keeping space. Right now, one of the minor adjustments that I'm doing is trying to not stay too much in the air because that scramble is not really working out for me. So trying to wait for him to make a neutral jump movement or sort of stay grounded myself, or have him jump over me. I can do launcher into jump roundhouse. Just something to keep him in front of me, and that's my basic idea, is to keep him in front of me in some capacity. So again, grabs, and then this was ridiculous. I don't think a lot of people realize how much intuition went into this and how much experience went into this, because the idea here is I could have came back with a jump roundhouse, but it would have been too late, I believe. So my idea was to buffer the parry, then try to come down and grab, but then he recovered quickly enough, and you can see that I actually did go for the jump roundhouse, but it was too late. But the fact that he did just one jab, waited for me, he anticipated it immediately right there, and he did command grab when I was coming down. So that was absolutely ridiculous. So he was really consistent with that conversion off of the low forward. Again, going back to the idea of giving him too many jump ins to parry. So I did an empty jump right there.
That's one of my tricks.
Again, I tried to do it again, but this time with grab to make it simpler. Because it was a little bit too close for me to do anything else. So anything else probably would have lost to forward grab. And then right there, when he did his neutral jumps, it's something that I was aware of and would do Torch Fierce to counter.
The kitty cat. Here's my business card.
So right there, this was one of those situations where he was looking for the other parry. So obviously looking for the forward parry afterwards. So me knowing that, I stopped, and then I delayed it, and then did low short into EX. This actually was supposed to be a slash afterwards. This was actually supposed to be a jab slash afterwards. So for some reason I got two jabs afterwards, most likely because I double tapped. But I definitely wanted jab slash to keep him locked down. But I was able to walk up counter grab. That was a little too slow on the palm. He did immediate dive kick after that, so luckily I got the parry afterwards, which is really fortunate. Right here I'm thinking, okay, I just really need to come up with some type of mix-up afterwards. I know that he's looking for the ground game significantly, so I said, okay, after I reset, I'll do an immediate dive kick right on top of him, which is really difficult to defend against, especially right here because he's being reset and I'm jumping. So the timing of it was really difficult.
Yeah, before he was Nica okay, now he's Nica KO.
So
Wow, alright, here we go.
that's one of the primary ideas there.
Yuuki's thinking about things. He's processing. Nica KO activated. Yeah, he's looking real strong here now. Strong.
So right here again, being the final game for me, I had to keep it simple, but I actually want a command grab there. I did not want low. I did not want low roundhouse, but it still worked out. And one of the things that actually he's been doing is countering my dash punches or countering my dive kicks with dash punch. He was doing that consistently the entire time, and it's really the only way to really deal with that is to dive kick early. So to short dive kick early, and that's the way that you're able to counter that, because if you recover quickly enough, you'll be able to block that dash punch that he does. Again, here's the conversion again. I missed at that point, I probably could have done something else, but it was just too far. That was a nice. That was a nice low strong to counter my jump in. Yeah, I missed a. So a lot of misses here. So I missed the launcher, but it probably would have been difficult to time that, given that he's jumping in at me at that trajectory. But then he command grabs here, and then I just have to dive kick to pressure him again. He misses the standing strong for whatever reason. Obviously an execution error, but I most likely would have been dead. And right here is one of the pickles of the situation that I came across, is that in the heat of the moment, I'm thinking, okay, if his low forward hit me and I was able to parry, this right here, I saw this on screen and I told myself, okay, this looks like I'm a little bit close, so I'll be able to low forward into super. The idea there is with the super coming out, it wastes a lot of the Ganesian meter and it gives me the hard knockdown. So that's one of the primary reasons why I decided to go for the super rather than low forward EX slashes to be safer. So then afterwards I'll be able to pressure, and basically all of his Ganesian would have been gone by then. So in a sense, I'm sacrificing my meter for his meter, and I'd rather use that trade-off. Because generically, Yang is the better character without meter compared to Yun in the game. So that was my intention when I came here. So seeing this, I said, okay, let me do low forward into super, but then whether it be because of literally the, I'm not sure how many frames is it, but it's literally just a really small amount of time that Yun is invincible when he activates Ganesian like this. And it's interesting because at that point he was down backing at that point, and my low forward was too far. Whereas if you look at it from this perspective, where I down parried him, right here, if he didn't activate, the low forward would have hit him as a punish. But because he activated, it actually made his hitbox too small, and either the invincibility or it made him too far. So that was actually pretty funny to see that. That's interesting. But yeah, I completely went for it. I bet it all at that point and said, okay, let me go for it. And he capitalized.
Yeah, whenever twins do repeat dive kicks, we call that Goomba stomps. The Goomba stomps. Play a little Mario, some platforming.
So again, just keeping him in front of me is my primary idea.
Low short into throw again.
I'm pretty comfortable when I have him locked down in the corner like that, but it's just the way he fights out and walks towards me like that. The prospect of him being able to parry me like that is really scary. So I have to be really, really aware of that. I mentioned this earlier, but that's actually that's a spacing tool that a lot of Yuns use. They use far standing strong into standing roundhouse. The idea being is that if I dive kick in front of him, it'll either trade or it'll beat me out, basically, just based on the spacing alone. So I realized, okay, he's going to do that type of setup after the far strong, which is natural. It's a natural, logical course of action. So for my part, I had no other choice but to forward parry.
Wow, how did guesser?
And mind you, this is actually something where we played earlier, so we're basically aware of the situations.
No way he knew, dog. Oh,
no. and Katie in disbelief that I knew, but in actuality I didn't know, so that's the funny part. But that's a parry into Senkyutai, and then right here, I had a lot of advantage to walk up and keep him locked in. So, I had the previous situation where I did this. I did an immediate dive kick after him. So I sort of threatened that whole entire possibility of grabbing. So at this point, it's sort of just doing the safest course and doing standing fierce into slash to both take care of any jumps, take care of any low techs, or low hits to sort of counter me. Because anything else, then it wouldn't have been fast enough to beat me, to beat my standing fierce.
Yeah, that's one of those checkmate situations where you're kind of forced into hitting a button. You got to do something there.
Especially as a character with no real wake up.
Oh.
So this was me reacting to the neutral jump that he did. Right here.
Oh.
I was actually expecting him to parry, so I wasn't necessarily expecting that to hit. The general idea is for him to buffer a parry there, and then I super jump neutral, I super jump up, and then I can either dive kick or just come up with a jump roundhouse. So that's basically how the situation would go, but him as Yun, he can actually parry and then do a chain combo afterwards. So it's really dynamic when it comes to Yun versus Yang in that sense. It's sort of like Goku versus Cell. The funny thing is that I made that comparison after the entire sets, was that me versus Yuuki was like Goku versus Cell the entire time. So it's pretty funny.
Oh my god. Are we teleporting to the other side?
Oh, nice delay.
Yuuki getting patient there. Oh no. Got opened up with a launcher. Oh.
So this is me getting the hard knockdown, and I didn't respect the wake up parry as much at this point, and that's my fault, because one of the generic situations that I go for is the universal overhead into command grab, and at that point I played him to the point where he saw it plenty of times before, and I guess at this point he had to sort of come up with something to counter. So right here, this hurts a lot because both I'm crouching and he has Gain Agent, so this is gonna hurt.
Gonna get big damage there. Oh, goes for the reset.
That was a nice reset
Nice
that he did.
reset from Yuuki.
I seldom get hit by that.
Oh!
Playing other young players, I seldom get hit by that, but he caught me by surprise at that point. And then right here,
Nice reset
with the
from
with the reset here, I said, okay, I have to either he might walk up and grab me, which actually I believe he did. Yeah, he actually did. So I assumed that he was going to walk up and grab me, so I had to escape. And from my part, I was actually expecting a command grab, but he actually did normal grab, so that allowed him to recover fast enough to parry my jump in. And this was actually a jump back into the chain combo, so you can actually do that in the corner as Yang. If you jump backwards, you can do the chain combo and get the 2 hits like this. So right here, I'm assuming, looking at the location, he most likely tried to punish with standing short into something. Or although I'm not sure if that's a grab. It could have been a grab too, like maybe he tried to wait until I landed and then maybe he tried to grab. But standing short works all the same. But you can see here it was too early and I was still aerial at the time. So again, I anticipated the walk up grab again, and at this point I said, okay, he parried my jump back chain combo, so let me try to do an empty jump. And then right about this point,
nice reset from Yuuki.
so right about this point when I'm in the air and he whiffed that grab, and I saw him whiff that grab, I said, okay, he's going to react with low strong up kicks. But then you could see the timing of it, that when he does it, it's really, really late, and I probably buffered my parry around about a step before, about a few frames before, so about right when I was like right up here, I buffered the parry, anticipating it, but then you could see that he did a little bit lower. And doing that, to have the mental awareness to do low strong into EX up kicks, that is absolutely ridiculous. And it's a testament to his quality as a player, and yeah, that's actually what made this set, or the entire tournament, the finals of the tournament, really fun for our part, is because we just kept on going back and forth with the adjustments like that, and little scenarios like this is what made it sort of it's like the comparison, like I said, to Goku versus Cell, which is funny. And you can see here that I was smiling because that was a really nice exchange.
Yuuki Spencer with the Galaxy reads. Brainiac right now.
But then, obviously, at this point, getting hit by that, you know, in normal situations, that would discourage a lot of players to sort of say, okay, damn, that was really sick, like, how do I come back from that? You have to collect yourself and say, okay, well, he hit me with that, I had the right ideas in mind, and he hit me with it, and I just missed a parry. Move on from it, you know? The best way to think about it is to say, okay, you know, even though he hit me with that, I had the right idea, I was on the right path to say, okay, to counter his walk-up grab, and I just didn't execute it properly enough, and that's how that occurred. So then at that point, I was just really excited at that point, but I had to reel back and say, okay, let me focus back up, this is the final game, and really look for something, a primary idea in the set that gave me the advantage, and that primary thing was keeping him in front of me. That was the primary thing that really gave me the most mileage, that gave me the most advantage in terms of dealing with his movements. So it allowed me to both deal with his shoulders, deal with his jumps, and at the same time keep him in the corner successfully. So that's my game plan at this point.
Nica did everything right and still lost. Okay. Nice red parry. And
that was nice.
Punish. Ooh. Oh yeah, it doesn't go for that third because Nica is very capable of red parrying it. Nice.
So right here, keeping him in the corner. This right here, actually.
Nice.
This right here. I did that low jab to sort of make him whiff a grab, and I wanted to walk up and launch her, but I got far forward. So I said, damn it, I can't get anything from this, so I had to wait for the next situation. So at that point, luckily I did a short dive kick. He tried to either do a roundhouse dive kick or counter my jump, but luckily I executed properly enough to recover fast enough and then get a chain combo. And then again, this is the scary situation where I had to worry about his parries, and you can see here, he actually does parry. He does parry, but then I do it correctly and I command grab. And you can see he down parried and I command grabbed. But then luckily he was too slow on the punish. Thank goodness. So that's constant pressure. I have a good amount of life, so I wasn't too worried about it. Right here, I was waiting for that the entire time, and I think he knew it at that point, because obviously he was laughing about it. So this is okay, and you can see here the life advantage that I have. I'm just jumping back, making sure that I space myself out. He has almost no life, and he's working on his meter. So me trying to keep him in front of me and trying to stay still, or rather stay grounded, is what's keeping me from doing any unnecessary movements. So I wait, and right there I saw that and reacted, and he saw that too, which is funny. But at this point I was telling myself, okay, I have sort of an advantage here, but then I saw that dash punch again. He really caught me by surprise.
Oh, catches him lacking. Watch your toes.
That was nice. He was really keeping me locked in at that point.
Oh! Stand fierce.
I literally could not do anything at this point. After the combo, especially.
Catches him lacking. Watch your toes.
He missed the reset, but then at this point, that dive kick threw me off. And then I said, okay, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. That's my first initial reaction. He kept me locked in with that forward strong, which was really good. I had to come up with some type of counter offensive, so I tried to counter grab him, and it didn't work. And that jump back fierce was actually really nice to sort of deal with that jump forward that I did. So he's really keeping me locked in. You can see that he's keeping this area off limits while I'm trying to sort of get past that. And he's doing everything he can from the dive kick into up kicks to jump back fierce, all of those things to keep me locked in, and he did it successfully.
Oh! Stand fierce, final round. Nica versus Yuuki. Who's gonna take it to go to grand finals?
That was a big miss because that wasn't a light punch dash punch. That looked like a medium punch dash punch from what I saw. But he did let's see. It was still a good selection to do. Yeah, it looked like a medium punch dash punch.
To go to grand finals.
So right here, yeah, that was really strange, but
no punish. Solid.
this is fine. I told myself, okay, let me not worry about that to take any unnecessary damage. And then right here, I told myself, okay, do not quick rise because that's going to cause you to get mixed up with his previous mix-up.
Nice.
Right there, I'm keeping myself in front of him, so literally the same way he kept me locked in the second round is the same idea that I'm trying to use here. So literally waiting for any type of delayed either shoulder, normal, or dive kick, and keeping myself at arm's length like this. Yeah, so walking back and forth like that, it lends itself to me being able to buffer parry there and react to it. So again, right here, at this point when I knocked him down, the one major weakness that I've always told myself about any player with fast reactions is the fact that they have fast reactions. So they react to grabs, they react to attacks, they react to anything that you do up close to them. So I always use that against them. And at this point I said, okay, I have the advantage, I just knocked him down, let me use this. So then I knocked him down, I waited for him to wake up, and then I walked up and launchered.
In a bad situation here.
And then this is how basically, for my part, in terms of my gameplay, this is how I gain the advantage. I retain that sort of primary weakness that players have, and use that against them to apply it at the most crucial point in the match. So right here, I applied it here, and unfortunately he escaped. I should have reacted to something else, but this was me thinking, okay, he's going to stay grounded and try to do like a low forward or something else to try to fight his way out. So I did EX slash there.
He's out now. Nice. Oh, gonna get.
This I wasn't I wasn't too confident about the super connecting, so I played it safe and did the chain combo into the corner, and then teleported. And then at this point, at this distance, I knew for a fact that okay, when I recover, I have some time. After the medium kick teleport, I have some time to do a meaty hit. And throughout the entire time, he always low parried. So I took a big gamble and said, okay, let me do a low strong into link into super. Because when it comes to that type of situation where it's that close, he either forward grabbed or he down parried, and at this point it was so devious in terms of the recovery that it looks like he almost he did wake up grab at that point.
Nice. Oh, gonna get super.
Yeah, so right here you can see that he's walking forward, and I did a meaty low strong here, so that's one of the ways that I was able to get that super. Right here he's in trouble, but then I can't give it up because he has Gain Agent. So I escaped, and this, I don't know how I got hit by this, but this is actually really interesting. How far it was, actually. So I said, okay, let me get out. And I actually, okay. So at this point I wanted to backdash again. So I was holding back, and that's how I got hit by that low shot. That was a good pickup right here.
Oh! Gets the pickup! Hey! Hey!
And he missed that combo. He actually should have just went for a basic dash punch combo. Although he could have kept it simple too and just done standing fierce into shoulder, and then dash punch. He would have had the primary set play afterwards. So he missed that because that's actually really hard to time against Yun and Yang from that distance, especially to end the combo. So that was a little too risky on his part. And right here, I was just like, okay, he's gonna land right on top of me. Right here. And I just told myself, okay, anything that I do here, with the timing of this, the way that he timed it, you can see I already recovered. So even if he did low short at that point, I still would have had enough time to back grab him, which is my entire idea anyways, because it's such a neutral position that any meaty hit wouldn't have worked at that point because it's just too slow. You know, so Yang already recovered, and you know, he's basically trying to establish something. So for my part, I'm holding back and then grabbing.
Oh! Final round. Nica KO takes it over Yuuki. What a match.
So that's pretty much the breakdown of the winners finals match between myself and Yuuki. I plan on doing the grand final set after this. I know it's a little extensive and it's a really large breakdown to do, but hopefully the mindset approach, the sort of mental aspect of it, and the breakdown analysis of the entire set will benefit all you players out there in some capacity. So I'll be uploading the next set after this, but if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Nica&Co or on twitch.tv/Nica_KO. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the next video.